Very interesting.
So we have found an exclamation point to put on the end of this first ever Geek Week here on The Rachel Maddow Show. It is Friday night, and in a Friday night sort of way, we have decided to explore the sliver of overlap in the Venn diagram between geek and hip-hop. Here, street life involves a street on which there is a science lab. Here, performers are likely to note that beat, B-E-A-T, is a homophone of beet, B-E-E-T, which is an excellent source of natural sugars. Here, NWA stands for Nerds with Aptitude. Baba Brinkman was making a pretty good name for himself in the world as the guy who had the rap version of the Canterbury Tales. An evolutionary biologist named Mark Palin at the University of Birmingham in Britain has a real interest in popularizing scientific concepts. He found out about Baba in the Canterbury Tales and asked him if he might turn his rapping about Chaucer skills into rapping about Darwin. And thus was born the world's first peer-reviewed rap. The Rap Guide to Evolution. It even has additional suggested reading material available on Baba's website. And so to finish our Week in Geek, The Rachel Maddow Show presents Baba Brinkman to perform a portion of his song, Natural Selection.
Whoever is led to believe that species are mutable will do good service by conscientiously expressing his conviction. For only thus can the load of prejudice by which this subject is overwhelmed be removed.
So what you know about natural selection? Go ahead and ask a question and see where the answer gets you. Try being passive-aggressive or try smashing heads in and see which tactic brings your plans to fruition. And if you have an explanation in mind, then you're wasting your time. Because the best watchmaker is blind. It takes a certain base kind of impatient mind to explain away nature with intelligent design. But the truth shall set you free from those superstitious beliefs in a literal Adam and Eve and that Edenic myth. Because their family tree is showing some genetic drift. Take it from this bald-headed non-celibate monk with the lyrical equivalent of an elephant's trunk. It's time to elevate your mind state and celebrate your kinship with the primates, the weak and the strong, who got it going on. We lived in the dark for so long. The weak and the strong, Darwin got it going on. Creationism is dead wrong.
The view which most naturalists entertain, namely that each species has been independently created, is erroneous.
Okay, it's time to reveal my identity. I'm the manifestation of tens of millions of centuries of sexual selection. Best believe I'm the best of the best of the best of the best of generations of competitive pressure genetically. But don't get upset, because we got the same pedigree. You and I will find a common ancestor eventually if we rewind geological time regressively. And I can say the same for this hibiscus tree, and this lizard, and this flea, and this sesame seed. And if you still disbelieve in what your senses perceive, I could even use my rhymes as a remedy. Because there's so much variation in the styles in this industry, and differential survival when the people listening decide what they're into and what really isn't interesting. You could thrive like Timberlake on a Timberland beat, or go extinct like Vanilla Ice and NSYNC. It's survival of the fittest, but fitness is a tricky thing. It changes from place to place, from winter to spring. But the real question in this social scientific simile is heredity. Whether we inherit our techniques from our predecessors or invent them independently. But then we're talking memes, and that's a different thing. Richard Dawkins, can I get a proper definition, please? The weak and the strong, who got it going on. We lived in the dark for so long. The weak and the strong, Darwin got it going on. Creationism is dead wrong. The weak and the strong, who got it going on? Whoever leaves the most spawn. The weak and the strong, Darwin got it going on. Creationism is
erroneous.
Dead wrong! Dead wrong! I know how it goes!
When I say creationism is, you say dead wrong!
Dead wrong! Baba Brinkman, thank you for doing this. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you for having me on the show.
I gotta ask you, what came first, science or rap?
Well, rap came first for me.
Yeah.
Had an interest in evolution, but no technical expertise. And when I was asked to do this evolution show, I had to do my homework.
Did you just like sink yourself into the molecular genetics of it and just, I mean, you rap about mitochondria on the show and everything. I mean, it's pretty detailed.
I tried to read as broad a base as I could, but macroevolution is what I was the most interested in.
Yeah.
You know, how do you get from a microbe to a full-fledged organism such as yourself?
Well, I've never thought of myself as full-fledged. Thank you very much.
Well, I've never thought of myself as a punctuation mark. So.
That's very good. I mean, obviously, this is a form of teaching as well as entertainment. Have you ever encountered a hostile audience when you do this?
I've never encountered a hostile audience to the whole show, But I opened the show with that, when I say creationism is, you say dead wrong intro, and in Britain, they lap it up. And the dead wrong, everyone gets right into it.
Yeah.
I did the show in Texas a few months ago, and I had a crowd of college students who were not too enthusiastic about that. I mean, picture me being like, when I say creationism is, you say dead wrong, creationism is... Okay.
We'll move on. Yes.
They liked the show in general, but they thought that that was just the wrong note to start on. And I did it at another college in the South in Missouri, and they said, why don't you pick a different thing to say is dead wrong?
Yeah.
So, you know, it's phenotypic plasticity. The show must change to adapt to the environment.
Baba Brinkman, thank you. It's great to meet you.
Thanks for having me on.
This has been a really fun Geek Week. You can learn more at babasword.com, which is his website. Thank you so much for joining.